Tonight I'm going to be talking with you all about my journey through ocean conservation. This journey started when I was only a few months old and is still continuing and developing every day. I started learning how to swim when I was only 3 months old. And I know what you might be thinking. Her parents are crazy. However, the connection that I have to water is directly related to this early exposure and the ability to feel comfortable in the water even as a baby. Having this early connection to water made me a happier and healthier kid. This is often referred to as having a blue mind. Blue-mindedness is spending time in our outdoor environment, especially in or near clean and healthy water, as all aspects of our well-being depend upon it. Not only did my love for water start at such a young age, but also my love and passion for marine life. When I was 3, I visited SeaWorld for the first time. That is where I fell in love with whales. I was just fascinated by these enormous, powerful, beautiful creatures. But even as a toddler, seeing these whales in a glass tank, my heart told me something was not right. Shouldn't I be seeing these creatures in the ocean, their real home? I think even then I knew that when I grew up, I was going to do something revolved around protecting our planet. When I was 8, my family and I traveled to Hawaii. It was my first time visiting Hawaii, and it was a trip that proved to be full of many firsts. My first time seeing a coral reef, my first time where schools of fish just swam right past me, and my first time swimming with a sea turtle. It was my first real experience being immersed in a natural marine environment, and it was unforgettable. So at this stage in my childhood, my love and passion for the ocean had already been established. So what was I to do with this passion? Educate myself. In 5th grade, I had an assignment to write a biography report on an inspirational person. I had a hard time choosing between the conservationist and scientist Jacques Cousteau and the marine biologist Dr. Sylvia Earle. However, Dr. Earle's story just fascinated me as I learned she was one of the first female marine biologists in such a male-dominated field. And choosing her for my report proved to play a significant role in my life, even though I didn't realize it at the time. And looking back, I find it ironic that in 5th grade, I was impersonating Sylvia Earle while wearing a wetsuit in front of my class, giving a presentation, acting as a diver and researcher, and now here I am, 6 years later, a certified scuba diver, doing citizen science research, and preparing to go to college in a science-related major. Throughout the next few years of middle school and early high school, I was really focused on dance and competing, which didn't allow me the time I wanted to spend on protecting our environment. When I was 14, I broke my foot. I was devastated because I had to sit out of dance for the rest of the season. However, there was a silver lining to this unfortunate injury. Taking that time off to heal made me realize I wanted to do something that mattered, something that was important to me, rather than dancing on stage to win a trophy, because a real trophy to me is a healthy planet. So I decided to step back from dance competition and started volunteering with the Surfrider Foundation's Ocean Friendly Restaurants program. With love and passion as my foundation and merely beginning to educate myself about the ocean in general, my road to advocacy began. My first steps into advocacy was with the Ocean Friendly Restaurants program. That's where I learned that our choices as consumers greatly affect the world around us, and making even the smallest changes can make a big impact. Volunteering with this program was a huge turning point for me because I realized as one individual, just one person, I could actually make a difference. I could go and speak to these restaurant owners who serve thousands, and they were very open to making change to better our planet. And after a few months of volunteering with the Surfrider Foundation, I came across an event in San Francisco that I just had to attend. It was a public forum on forage fish, and the discussion was led by a panel of scientists, including my 5th grade idol and world-renowned marine biologist, Dr. Sylvia Earle. I begged my mom to drive 7 hours up to Northern California so we could attend the event. Yes, As a sophomore in high school, my idea of fun was listening to a bunch of scientists talk about how fish at the bottom of the food chain are crucial to our ocean's ecosystem. I took tons of notes and had a huge smile on my face, just taking it all in. But the icing on the cake was getting to meet my idol, Dr. Sylvia Earle. I couldn't wipe that smile off my face for days. I mean, I'm still smiling about it. But it turned out the icing on this cake was multi-layered. At the event, I recognized some representatives from an organization called Heirs to our Oceans, a global youth-led organization dedicated to solving the problems our oceans face for us and future generations. I'd seen their website and heard about what they were doing, and I wanted to get involved, but since they were based in the Bay Area, I didn't really think it was possible. I'm not typically the type of person to reach out and ask for things, and up to this point, I definitely lacked self-confidence. But my drive for wanting to make real change led me to get in contact with the organization. And although it definitely didn't happen overnight, taking that plunge and emailing them led me to start one of the first Heirs for Our Oceans chapters. And now, suddenly, I found myself in this leadership role as founder of the Orange County chapter. I was organizing meetings, connecting with other organizations, and educating my local community about human impacts on our oceans. I could have never imagined myself in a position like this years prior. Through Heirs for Our Oceans, I had the opportunity to attend an international youth summit called Plastic Ocean Pollution Solutions. Before the summit, there was this screen between myself and the vision I had of the ocean. But it filtered out all the bad stuff I didn't really know about yet. But after the summit, that screen just was stripped away, and I was finally able to start to understand the truth behind our ocean crisis. And knowing these issues, I couldn't just step back and hope for improvement. I was inspired and compelled to take action. But before I could ask others to start making lifestyle changes, I had to start with myself. I started replacing commonly used single-use plastics where I could immediately. At that point, I'd proven to myself that plastic was a convenience, not a necessity. Then I was able to better communicate solutions to others. Most people just don't understand how our habits are negatively impacting our environment, which leads back to us and our health. And I found that most people don't even stop to think about that piece of plastic once they throw it away. My passion led me to educate as many people as I could about the problem. My love for marine life and desire for healthy oceans was beginning to take on a new meaning, and I began to feel like part of a community that supported my choices and wanted the same outcomes as I did. This led me to face my family, peers, educators, local businesses, and even legislators about their single-use plastic habits. But let me tell you, this was not as easy as I had hoped. Getting my stubborn 65-year-old grandpa to break his 40-year-old habit of drinking coffee from a styrofoam cup daily felt like a losing battle at the time. No straw, please, does not always resonate with restaurant servers. So even with all this knowledge and extensive resources, the biggest challenge I have is trying to convert others to a plastic-free lifestyle. This path that I'm on, advocating for healthy oceans, has had ups, but has definitely had downs along the way. And as I further educate myself, I see some pretty awful stuff. I read articles about sea turtles being entangled in fishing gear and whales washing up on beaches with their stomachs filled with plastic. Sadly, I've had to look at bleached coral in some of the most beautiful places in the world. And I've seen firsthand the mounds of waste, including so much plastic, washing up on this uninhabited island, which also turns out to be a turtle nesting ground. How awful is that? Sometimes it feels like all the problems are too big to tackle, and frankly, it's pretty frustrating. It's so easy to get caught up in the negative and give up, but that is just not an option for me. I find beauty among all the problems because I know there's no quick and easy solution. When my friends send me pictures of themselves using a reusable straw or water bottle, that to me, that's a victory. Seeing people who never gave the health of the planet the time of day starting to understand how crucial this problem is, that means there's hope out there for all of us. And cleaning getting my hands dirty, cleaning up beaches with other folks and youth around the world, or even making movies about plastic pollution like I did while I was in Palau this summer, that's when I feel the most inspired because I realize I'm not alone in this movement. Over the past few years, as I've dove further into ocean conservation, I've grown so much as a person. I'm able to think critically about problems that are being pushed onto my generation. I'm a better leader and communicator, which I can apply to other aspects of my life. I've learned to think globally, to consider all nations and communities who can't always voice their opinions. As I'm entering my senior year of high school, I'm naturally brought to a fork in the road. But I know whichever path I take, I will continue to personally work towards an even more environmentally conscious lifestyle, expand my outreach, and to continue to be active by having a voice for our blue planet. The message I would like to leave you all with tonight is to truly identify what you are passionate about, no matter how small you may think it is. Then make that passion a part of your lifestyle. Don't be afraid to own your passion no matter what other people might think or say. Don't give up on what you believe in because change does not happen overnight. And collaboration is key. Working together is when we make real change. Thank you.